Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey,
You're right.
Campbell's,
what's
Picard.
happening?
Yes, we can hear
What's
you.
going on? You good?
Excellent. You look fabulous. Okay. Well, of course, you fabulous people. So I'm gonna begin. No, we'll begin with a word of prayer, and then we'll start.
Let's pray, guys. Dear Lord, we thank you for the blessing of life and for allowing us to come together. You know, it's been a mad day, Lord. The sun's been out, the rain and the thunderstorms have been out, and we've all been hard at work. Lord, watch over us now as we talk and discuss, and we hope that we will all be blessed. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Right, so episode 7, here we are, and we are talking about the first year of marriage, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh gosh. So we're just talking about what our experiences have been like. You know, we're all in along this journey. We've gone through this journey. You know, we've spoken about how many years we've been married already, and quite a few of us have, you know, experienced. We've gone quite a shortish, longish distance into the marriage life. You know, but what was that first year of marriage like for us? So we're going to explore this evening. We're going to be sharing our experiences, and we're just going to be having fun, because let's face it, that's what we want to do right now. We want to laugh, we want to catch some jokes.
Yes.
We just want to just enjoy. So Sheree, can you just give us a bit of background information of what's been going on this week?
So we've been posting, asking questions, just trying to get more of a rounded view of people's experiences, whether, you know, they've been married for a year, less, or longer. So, you know, we took to good old social and asked a couple of questions. Some of the answers were quite funny. So one of the questions that we asked were, what did you hope that you knew before marriage? And I guess I already had my own ideas. But actually what was really honest was some people were saying just how much of a roller coaster it is. Because I think, you know, we do things like this and we're all happy and smiling. We've had such lovely comments about how we all, as individual couples, make marriage look like so much fun. And that's what you see. You see everybody having the great time, the smiles, everyone looks Chris. Everyone here looks Chris today. But yeah, it's just, you know, being truthful and saying, you know what, some days aren't like that. So that was really nice to see that other people felt that way as well. Some of the other things, this was quite funny, is what changed between dating and being married. And somebody said that they have more money now that they're married.
I think I need to switch wives or switch partner.
Come on,
Come on now.
Is that true though?
No.
What the reason is, the person who made this comment, their spouse doesn't let them spend money.
Oh, right, okay.
Interesting. Money. Well, yeah, I guess other people said, like, you know, money is like less. And I feel like that, but I think it's because, you know, once you're married, then you have your house together, then you have all your bills, and like your spending changes. So you're not just going out on dates when you can fit them in. You're actually like, you've got like full on financial commitments. So in my experience, I would say that it's the other way around. I wouldn't say I have more disposable money now, because, you know, now I'm in a different situation. Another really good one was just don't fight in public. Because I feel like marriage is under the attack anyway. And people are so quick to kind of jump on that and pull people down. So, you know, that was a really good piece of advice. You know, don't fight in public. Don't have a bad face in public. And just take your time and go through things slowly. And just being careful and aware of who you're sharing things with. I guess all of us have had marital counselling, and that's one of the things that I remember from ours is you know, you don't run around and share absolutely everything with absolutely everyone. Because not everybody is for you, and I think that's really important for people that are just entering into marriage to be aware of. You know, you might have a friend that you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna like just offload everything, but not that this person would have bad intentions of you, but you have to be conscious that that's creating a picture of your spouse to that person if all you're doing is sharing negative with them. So yeah, there's some of the things that were shared, and I think they were really valid points and things that I guess we would all echo as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
I was just thinking about the first point that you made about someone saying that marriage is a bit like a roller coaster, and they wish they knew how bad it could get or how good it could get as well before they got married. A lot of people talk about this kind of honeymoon period, and they say, you know, it might last for a year, 2 years after you get married. Like, what did you guys think? Did you think you had a honeymoon period? How long did it last? When did it end? If it ended, or were you all still living the dream?
Absolutely in the dream.
I feel like you're gonna say that though. Go on, okay, go raise. Let's hear it.
No, I think there is a honeymoon period. I think there's absolutely that moment where you're like, wow, we're actually married.
Yeah.
We're living in the same house, and I've now got your name, and I am now a part of this whole, like, we've got a whole new book we're about to write now, like a whole new journey. I found it very strange, to be honest, because the first part of, like, Marcus will tell you, when we got married, the morning after, like, I was packing up my stuff like I was going back home. And he had to say to me, what are you doing?
Where you go?
I was like,
you're locked in here.
I felt like it was just, hey, sleep over with my friend. Hey, all right, I'm gone now. Bye. Like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't click.
It didn't. Yeah, it took some time to sink in. But then once that honeymoon period was like in full motion, I'm talking like we were blessed enough to be able to travel and go away. It was like, whoa, this is it now. Okay. And then I started becoming wifey, and
All right.
So I think yeah, there is a honeymoon period, definitely, but I don't say that we're still in it now.
No.
9 years later, no way.
So what would you say ended it, or when did it end?
I just think that in marriage, you have
Go carefully now.
in marriage you have different phases. Like, you'll have your honeymoon period, and you grow together after that, and you have all these different parts of your marriage. That ain't to say that the honeymoon is dead. The honeymoon ain't dead. But that whole bubble, that honeymoon period bubble.
Yeah, it's kind of like finding yourselves. So that whole honeymoon period, people always talked about it, but you don't really understand what it is until you're in. And you kind of realize, oh, okay, this must definitely be that honeymoon period that people are talking about. Everything's yes, sir. Everything's
I
yes,
was
miss.
spreading petals on the bed every
Every night?
Yeah.
You think I'm waking up to spread out?
I feel like
Just for them to get straight
because I
up.
was
But,
not doing
I
that.
feel like you were too.
Or whatever.
but you kind of know it when you're in it, and then
It's too expensive for that.
well,
Yo.
there you
Is
go.
anyone else spreading petals? Or was it just Dion that was raising the bar?
Yeah, I'm on to a winner. That's why.
Yo.
I think I just ended up going upstairs with the Dyson.
He's already got an issue with the amount of cushions and pillows on the bed.
Why do you not do this? 20,000 cushions that you're not allowed to sleep on.
But does it
Yeah. You gotta stack them in the corner.
It does.
They're for decoration, bro.
That's
They're for
right.
decoration.
No.
You don't.
But how about you guys, like Campbell's? Like,
Yeah.
what was the honeymoon period for you guys? Like, how long did that last for?
I would say, right, the only difference between the honeymoon period and now is that when you want it, if you know what I'm talking about, you can have it whenever you want. But now it's still there, but like I'd say the honeymoon
Are you
is
slacking, Micah?
Not whenever you want, Winnie.
definitely there. But
Do you mean one it like toast in the bed? Like what?
Yeah, I mean,
be explicit. Come on.
I would say the biggest difference is, for me, the honeymoon period. We spoke about this. It was very difficult to kind of quantify a time period, like to say, okay, it was 3 months, it was 6 months, it was a year. It's kind of hard because I think the biggest challenge for us was having children. That changed everything. That changed the whole dynamic of our relationship. But our relationship is still loving, it's still exciting, but we just don't have the same
spontaneity that we had when you first get married. I'd say that was that if you define honeymoon, it's the spontaneity that you can have pre-kid
without children.
What we're trying to say is, when you get married, you can just christen everywhere. You can just christen everywhere with no limits, no boundaries. Then the children come along and it's a different story. That's contraception in itself.
It's still christen everywhere, but you just have to make sure there's no little eyes watching.
Yeah. We'll come to that topic another time.
Yeah.
But then do you know what, guys? I also believe you can recreate the honeymoon experience when the in-laws look after the kids. You know, when you go out for date night, you watch a movie, you know, you wine and dine, you go out for a mocktail, your wife looks nice, you know. I don't know why you ladies are laughing and smiling, because you do this without us, your £7 orange juices. But, is it £13?
Nah, it's £40, isn't it?
Give or take.
Johnson?
There's £14, wasn't it?
£14 for orange juice. Have mercy.
Are you trying to justify this?
I'm just saying it was nice.
The oranges must have come straight from an orchard in Florida or something.
Yeah. No, like one of them M&S type. This is not just any normal orange juice. It's a pure pressed. Like that was foolishness. It's orange juice.
Not even M&S will sell it for £14.
You know.
It doesn't even
honeymoon period for us, same, I reckon. I think it kind of changed with the kids. I mean, obviously, like, you know what Winnie was saying, you tend to have a lot of toast when the kids are not around, but then obviously it kind of changes as the time goes on. Obviously my mom's watching, so we have toast.
What if you don't like toast, Jonathan? What if you don't like toast?
Get married.
One.
Okay.
Lemon cheese.
But now that the children have come around, it's just
intolerant.
But I reckon you kind of can almost recreate your honeymoon time through the different stages. You know, you talk about different stages.
Yes.
Like just like having kids was a time when we were like really happy. And sometimes we look back and think, oh my goodness, I'm a dad. Like I'm daddy. Same way as when we first get married, it's like, oh, I'm now a husband, or you're now a wife, and you kind of have that. As the different stages go on, you get a different level of excitement, fun. But obviously the toast is a different thing.
No, see, that makes complete sense, because we were looking at this. Like Stacey and I were talking about, since we started doing this, can we just talk? And we started. What it's done is it's made us be more open with each other, because we used to be open with you guys as well. And I almost feel like, we were discussing, we feel like we're in almost like another honeymoon period, where you're just on like, you're just like on cloud nine, you're just talking. And I think it's because, you know what? Now you don't need to broke off your fingers. and so
that's the first time I've heard you speak that way.
No way. Behave yourself, yeah.
I didn't understand what he meant personally.
You know what? I do want Micah.
Don't even try that, Micah. Don't even try.
Allow you. So what it's? I think that's just echoing what Jonathan's saying. It's almost a case of where, as you go through different stages in life, you can recreate the honeymoon period, but your expectations of what is a honeymoon period almost changes with how you've adapted in life. And so I think what it comes back to is actually a question that was put in the comments, is like, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep that spontaneity? So for instance, in that first year, when you're talking about you just like bunning up toast like day in, day out, you know, breakfast, it's your nighttime snack, it's just, yeah. So how do you keep it fresh? Oh, come on, guys. Like, how do you keep it fresh? Who's brave enough to jump in there? Let's go with a race because Dion's trying to look all shy and bashful.
Yeah, she's trying to look all shy and bashful.
No, we're going to come like...
Okay, let's do it this way. We'll give one and everyone else will give one of how we keep it fresh, yeah?
Okay.
One each
Yeah.
or one per couple?
One each. One each. So...
None of those Tarzan activities
Okay.
swinging from the roof
You
and
can do
things.
two, Winnie.
Yeah, Winnie, you can do two, okay?
So
Leon,
one
I
for
think you got the whole list, girl. Just drop it like it's hot, man. Come on.
one for us is what do we call it? We would call it
Oh, there's a name for this.
okay, it's kind of role play.
Okay.
It's kind of role play.
It's a role play.
So it's kind of Dion being her, but sometimes
naughty
playing
teacher.
an alias, like a different name. And
I
then
might play my middle name instead.
yeah, not like a random person out on the road. But she might play a middle name. So then I essentially have to chirps chirps Natalie and get to know Natalie.
Actually,
So
you have to call me like Natalia or something.
Okay.
Some exoticness.
You know what I'm saying? So essentially, we're doing what we would do in terms of getting to know her and trying to win her over, so she'll play hard to get and that sort of thing.
I mean, basically, I'll just make him work for it again.
Dominic Smith, this is
Like
kinky.
he used to.
No,
Yo.
it ain't kinky. You know, it's not kinky. No,
No.
It's like
You're getting Marcus to practice his game on the next woman. Okay.
It's practicing his game on me.
You better not have a colleague at work called Natalie or Natalia.
Nah, bro, none of that.
No, he is practicing his game on me. He better
On my
keep
wife.
He keeps that fresh. That's what it is. And
Stay ahead of the game.
you see what happens when we role play. Even when we're having arguments and stuff, the role play just kicks in. So I don't want to talk to him, and I'll be like,
And then I have to woo all over again. You know.
Okay.
That's just one. We can't give them all the
No.
nuggets. You know?
Okay.
Go ahead, Shirley and John.
Everyone has to watch the later episodes to get more tips and tricks.
Yeah,
isn't it? I get you.
I don't even know how I can lead on from that.
I think we touched on this a couple of episodes ago. When
Yeah, we
somebody
did.
asked a question like, how do you initiate kind of thing? And then we was having a little bit of a running joke about Dion, like with the eyes and the chocolate.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's the unexpected or the times when you least expect it. And like, I feel like Wednesday is turn up day. So sometimes you just have to turn up and just leave the turn up to do its work.
Yeah, Jonathan. Okay.
Come on, sis.
We know what time it
Jonathan
is.
not even saying nothing. He's like, I know.
Jonathan, you want some butter for your toast?
Just like, just here with the body glitter and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, body glitter. Jonathan.
Wowza.
Look a perfume, but you're not
Wow.
gonna
A bit of Dior joy and just,
She's talking about turning up for Bible study, guys. I don't know why you're not even going there.
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Wednesdays is prayer meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's
Thank you
true.
very much.
Thank you, Lord, for the blessings in it, Jonathan.
What he's about to receive, may the Lord make him
Really thankful.
What I'm about to receive made me truly thankful.
Multiply those blessings.
Okay, let's go, Micah. Micah, Winnie.
Go on, babes.
You first, go on.
I was pretty much going to say what Cherie said, to be honest. It's the spontaneity. It's those ones where the other person isn't expecting it. Like, you might get home from work and, turn up days on a Sunday. So,
Turn up days every day, man. I get it twisted, man. It's go. Yeah.
Take time.
You always want to keep. The thing for me, right, is it's about keeping it spicy. So it's not just about, okay, let's be frank. If everybody likes great intimacy in their marriage, but in order to have great intimacy, there has to be great connection. And you can enhance that, create that connection by doing great things for your spouse. Gifts, speaking their love language, making sure the house is tidy, put the kids to bed, compliment your wife, get her into a nice mood. And when she's in a nice mood, she'll give you whatever you want.
it's true.
Some manipulation right there.
Because last night I came home from work at like 3, and my kids were waiting for me, like just to have conversation to make sure I was all right. And I thought, oh, we haven't had a conversation at 3 in the morning in a while, so. Yeah.
Was that with the bow?
I didn't have my bow tie on, but you know what, bro? Just for you, I'm gonna look for it and search out for that bad boy bow tie. I've got a couple, bro. You know, a couple. I've got the cuffs as well, bro. You feel me?
Oh, well, naked butler right there. You know, some naked butler.
Okay, Dre and Stacey, what are you guys?
Go for it.
You want me to go? So as Micah has touched on, outfits are always wonderful. And yeah, just keeping it up throughout the day. So sending messages throughout the day, little pictures, letting him know it's on.
Yes, come
See,
on.
that's what it's about.
Give him the menu from lunchtime. Come on.
Well, this is it. Like, for me, it's not about just, oh, you know what, you rock up, it's nighttime, flick a switch and you're on. No, it's all about letting them know from morning what time it is.
Absolutely.
Because you need to be, like, for me, I want her to be like waiting all day. Not like waiting all day, but you know, like anticipation.
Yes.
You want the build up. You want the build
Come
up.
on, Dre.
100%.
Come on.
100%.
Build up from the get-go, you know?
This is it. And so it's one of those things where, like, no matter what you're doing, like, you can pop out from a meeting with work and you're just like, you know, pop back in, come back out. You're ready. You know, keep it going.
So
then once when you got your phone and you're like, oh yes,
That's exactly what it's about.
I have to turn the brightness down and you scream.
So one of the analogies that's out there for this whole spontaneity is to remember, you know, that it's like your wife is like a bank account. Okay. So if you don't deposit any money in, you can't expect to withdraw anything. So you have to start from, as you said, Dre, and as you said, Micah, you got to start from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. You can't just expect it to flick on and there'll be money in the bank.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that analogy.
So we got to work. We got to woo them all day.
Not suitable for this platform.
Absolutely.
No, man.
I also think it's really important to make sure you're in a good place, because if you guys are warring with each other and arguing, then you're not going to want to have sex. If you guys, well, some people like angry sex and makeup sex and stuff like that, but the whole idea,
That's not one of your alter egos, D.
Who's gonna lick my head across the room?
I'm like, the reality of it is, like, if I'm being honest, if I'm really upset with Winnie or she's upset with me, the last thing that I want or she wants is for us to be intimate. So my question to you guys is this: how do you diffuse arguments, and what are your fighting styles during the heat of an argument?
Straight uppercut.
So let me give you context. The whole idea of the context is you're trying to reduce the argument so that you can get back to a good place.
Eddie, give him the context, Micah, because uppercut, where you going?
I would have said, hey,
what's your fighting style?
Wait, if that was me, I'd be like,
okay, you know what? Go on. So basically, I read a book ages ago called Hold Me Tight, really good. The author's name is Dr. Sue Johnson, and she basically talks about 3 stages people go through when they argue. One of them is find the bad guy. The second is the protest polka. And the third is freeze and flee. I'll go through it real quick. So with the first one, it's all about, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, you did this. No, you did that. Because the couple's trying to blame the other person. The second is the protest polka. That's where you start nitpicking and looking at the small little thing. You burnt the dinner, but you didn't cook my yam the way I wanted it. It was hard. You didn't cook the ackee the way I wanted it. And you didn't strain up the saltfish. And you mixed it in and there was no Scotch bonnet in it. You can't cook, woman.
Okay, we're getting a bit too into this now.
And the third one is freeze and flee. Now, freeze and flee is like the whole stonewalling thing. So you're vexed and you're hot. And it's like, I ain't talking to you, so you go into shutdown mode.
I think that's very much a man thing, though, isn't it? Unless it's just me. I think that's a man thing.
No,
yeah,
I definitely.
Yeah, definitely a man thing.
I thought you were going to point at me. I was like, yeah, cool, yeah.
No, I definitely do that.
Definitely might be a stammer thing.
I struggle with.
So, but don't. So you guys ever go through those stages?
Yeah, 100%. So like
I
stage,
don't know if it's in that order sometimes. Sorry,
Doesn't
man.
have to be. That's
that,
fine.
you can roll them all into one, and that's the thing. So I think like Stacey and I had this discussion the other day because like Stacey will go completely silent and she'll do the whole silent treatment. And so I'm like, are you okay? No. What do you tell your face then? Because it's clearly something wrong there. And so what we started realizing is we want to work through life. You don't want to be going to bed angry, you don't want to be vexed, don't want to have an unhappy marriage. And so we said you almost have to compartmentalize, move yourself from the emotion. Because what happens is what?
You just went robot like.
Oh, see, that's okay.
Oh, did the signal cut out?
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Are we back now? We back?
Yeah. You're back.
Okay,
You're back.
cool.
Start again. Let's go.
Okay. Now, what we were saying is you've got to almost compartmentalize things where you remove your emotions from the situation and you look at it objectively going, we don't want to be vexed. I don't want to be vexed. You don't want to be vexed. So what is the situation that's causing us to be vexed? And the problem is sometimes when you're so caught up in the emotions, you feel you need to let the other person know just how angry you are. You need them to show remorse. You need them to show, and sometimes those stages aren't actually necessary for you to move past it. It's just gratifying your ego. It's fulfilling or gratifying your emotions. And you sometimes have to step aside from your emotions like it's a separate person and look at it logically and just go, right, how do we move past it? And it's a difficult thing to do. And Stacey and I only reached that stage because we were having a blessing argument one time. And I thought, at the end of the day, I still want to be married to you. I still want us to be able to be happy. So I'm going to have to put my ego aside, my anger aside, my hurt aside, and actually step to you and go, like, how can we move past this? And I think over time, like, it's not an easy thing because at that time, it's like, I need you to understand how wrong you are and for you to understand how much you've wronged me. And it's just getting rid of that. It's that fight or flight thing, getting rid of that first thing where I'm ready to fight and just go, no, I'm going to sit back and let's talk this through, emotions to one side. And that's the hardest thing to do.
Trust
I
me.
think that comes as part of the journey though, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I first got married to him, mate, he used to drive me so mad that he would not argue back with me. Like,
Yes,
I
Marcus.
wanted the argument, I wanted that, and the fact that he's like, you know what, whatever. And I'm going, argue back, say something. like, and I wasn't getting that. And that I think as part of the journey now, we've come to that point where we've learned how to communicate with each other. We've learned to express those things. Again, going back to the love languages episode, we've learned how to understand, how to communicate, how to do all of that stuff. But initially, I think, when we first, as I said, we're talking about first year of marriage. My first year of marriage, I'm still trying to find out about how this guy is going to deal with me when we do come to knock heads, and we're trying to understand each other and how to get our points across.
I think the first years when you do learning about and I think that's probably why it's potentially the hardest, because you don't know how that person's going to argue with you. You don't know how they need to resolve a situation, because it might be the complete opposite to you, like what you've just said, Dee. You're someone that wanted to like thrash it out, whereas Marcus is just like, nah. And like, I think
not anymore now. I'm saved.
You and Natalia.
I'm certain in an early episode, Dion wanted Marcus to stop breathing.
What was that, Dre?
I'm sure in one of the early episodes, you wanted Marcus to stop breathing.
Listen, I said no, whatever.
Hang on, Sheree.
I was just saying, like, obviously in that first year, it's figuring out how this person, like, suddenly you're living with them, they're always there, they're always breathing on you, they're like, you need to eat together, you see each other. Like, at one stage we worked together and traveled to work together and from work together, and then
some love, man.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know, like, I'm the type of person that I want to talk about it, I want to keep talking about it and keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. Jonathan's not like that, so
Dead that.
yeah. He taught me something actually, which we don't do now and we should probably implement again. Like, is it really worth it? And like, sometimes that just makes you check yourself and think, okay, now Do you know what I mean? Like,
in the grand scheme of things.
yeah, in the grand scheme of things. That's what we used to say. Like, in the grand scheme of things, is it really that deep?
So do
And
you
like,
guys actually say that? Like,
yeah.
do you stop your argument to say that to each other?
Yeah.
Mid-argument.
But
Mid-argument. That would make me more vexed. Wow.
No, but that's a good. I think that's good. Your
That's
argument
very
is really worth it. That's
Very
brilliant.
good.
That make you
I think
vex.
you've got to be big to be able to accept that when the other person says it, they're saying it in the right way. So fair play.
I'll be like, in my scheme of things,
yeah, that's true. That's true. But for us, it was just a checkpoint. It was just to hang on a minute. Does this even go anywhere? Like,
And I think as you guys have all said, the important thing to realize once you go into that marriage stage is that in the courting stage and even in the honeymoon stage, sometimes there's a lot of things that you would just let slide because you love that person. You know, you talk about love being blind. It's kind of, you don't see that they leave clothes on the floor, or you don't see that they leave the toilet seat up, all those little things. But then once you start to get past that moment and you're living with that person, you start to see those things more and you think, I can't stand that. Why are you doing that all the time? But again, as you said, it's about learning about each other and talking to each other to realize what are those little things that may set off a big thing for no reason, just because you haven't spoken to each other.
I think when we were dating, someone gave us this advice that when you have a problem, and they used a pencil because that's what we had to hand. Often when you have a problem, you often stand on like opposite sides of the problem. And so when you're looking at the problem, you're also seeing your partner. But the thing is to remember that actually they're not your enemy, they're not the problem. And you both kind of, I don't know if you can visualize what I'm saying, but need to come around and stand on the same side so that you're both standing next to each other looking at the problem, but then you're not seeing the other person as well. And you approach it together. And I think that's always stuck with me as a really good piece of advice. And I think, I mentioned my fight style is to go silent and to just be vexed. And Joe will see it on my face and I won't say anything, what's wrong with you? Nothing, when clearly there's something is. I found myself as well that I used to react a lot to him. Like if he came in angry, I'd be like, why are you coming in the house getting angry for no reason? And then something would kick off like that. And so as Dre said, it's about trying to put my feelings to one side.
Absolutely.
And really focus on him and say, well, you know, why are you upset? Like what's going on with you? And really trying to understand where he's coming from. And I think it's about putting yourself to one side, putting the other person first, trying to understand what's going on with them. And when you start putting them first, I think it helps. It becomes a bit easier.
Because we had to do something similar to what Sheree and Jonathan did, where I used to say this thing to Stacey, like when we were angry, and you know when you check yourself and just go, 1 minute, what are we arguing about? I used to say, I'm not the enemy. Because whatever we're arguing about, we're angry at a particular situation or something that has happened, but the person is not the enemy. You're angry at the situation. And it's almost like when you check that, it was one of those things where it's like an olive branch or you're extending a bridge going, I'm at the stage where I'm willing to work on this for you.
That's a good point.
That's a good analogy, good thought process. Like that.
I think what we used to do you remember when we used to say, let's pray? And that used to make me vex.
Yeah, it would make me vex as well.
When he would say, babes, you know, I don't want the devil to mash up our marriage. I don't want it to get that bad. So let's pray. And I used to be vexed. I don't want to pray. I don't want to talk to God now. I have to humble myself and say,
that's the time for prayer. That is the time to
all right, Lord. And I'm telling you, by the time the prayer's finished, it's really hard to be vexed when someone prays for you, you know.
Because you can't lie to God about your feelings. You can't pretend.
I love that.
I feel backed into a corner.
Struck down with lightning if you say it.
This is it.
Yeah. And Winnie would pray one thing and she would have to say to God, and I love Micah, you know, Lord, and just please help him. And
the guilt.
I'd say I'm really sorry, like genuine, because like you can't say you're sorry to God and ask Micah to forgive you if you don't actually mean it.
Yeah.
So you have to mean it in the prayer, man.
Argument can't stand up with that, man.
That's why you're a pastor's wife, Winnie.
There we
So
go.
Back that one in the future.
Jeez.
I was just thinking that.
I'm sorry, Micah, that's on a level, right? You don't have a chance with that.
Listen, try it, guys. When you're vexed, just say, listen, let me pray for you. Let's pray.
I'd feel
this big, like, the comment behind it or the feeling behind it is, "Come now, heathen, let me pray for you."
No, it was more.
I don't know how to take it.
No, but the thing is, it's like the stuff that would come before. It'd be like, babes, I really love you, and I don't want us to argue about this.
Yeah.
So can we pray to God together? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, that word. I get that.
It's
Come
not
now,
like-
Delilah. Come, Delilah. Let us pray.
No,
Come on,
man,
to
right.
Harlot. We need to pray for you. That's just,
that's it. I feel so unholy.
So so like moving on, when you've said I do, it's not just your family. You're both bringing your backgrounds and your parents, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, everything together. So like, how did you kind of bring everything together and make, I don't know, blend the families together once you got married?
I found that more difficult than Jonathan initially, because it all has to do with what you experienced growing up. So for me, when I always had split sides, if that makes sense. So any family function growing up, it was either my mum's family or my dad's family, and it's not often that they'd be together. So when we got married and it was like we were doing something, in my head it was like, are we inviting my family or your family?
Mm.
And he was almost like, why can't they all just come? I found that really strange. I was like, but there's a lot of people, and they don't necessarily know your family. And he's like, yeah.
You're not making me laugh because you're there trying to say it nicely, but there's so many people.
Because Jonathan's got a big family, and I was just like, well, where do you draw the line? Because his mum's one of what, 20? No, I'm joking. Like 30.
Wow.
I was like, I don't understand. And like my mum's side of the family, there's like my mum and my auntie Charmaine. That's it, my grandma. So like that's like a very close knit family. And then we've got Auntie Hazel, and that's kind of it. And then on my dad's side, he was one of 5, and you know, we didn't really ever have that whole group together. So for me to then think, hang on his mum's side, there's 13 of them. I was just like, I don't even know how this can even happen, Jonathan, if I'm honest. But it was just learning that, you know, that's fine. It's actually okay to have both families meet. And when they met, and you know, we had a few occasions where our immediate families came together, they really got on. And then, you know, my mum started saying, oh, why don't you tell Sylvia to come to such and such? I was like, oh, okay. And then my grandma would be like, tell Jonathan's mum and his sisters, and so it was like a new thing for me. And it was really nice just to see all these people come together. Yeah, it was different, but we worked it out.
quite simple, I think.
Yeah.
I think
For us, it's a bit similar to you guys, isn't it? Because I come from, listen, my family is everything, whether it's mum's side, mum is one of 6, and then we have the cousins who are just, well, y'all know the cousins. The cousins is just
Endless.
And we just keep on having children, praise the Lord, you know. So like it's big. And then my dad's side is even bigger. It's like double the size of my mum's. And so when we come together, I had to let Marcus know, and I had to say, right, babe, as much as I love you, you have to understand that you are marrying into my family. So yes, you're marrying me, but you're actually marrying into this family unit. And so right from the get-go, you know, it was just like you said, Cherie, you know, it was my mom, his mom, praise God, they got on really well. They get on really well. Even now they do. Our families just blend together, and everyone loves each other just as much. Do you know what I mean? It's nice. So we just feel like we lose the in-laws, and it's just, oh, it's cousin, or it's my brother, or everybody. It's just family.
That's true.
It just became difficult when it was like the first Christmas. That was the hard one, because listen, Christmas we go hard. So like I was saying, well, what you gonna do? Because Christmas is family. Like, so where are we going? And Marcus was like, well, I guess you're gonna go to your family, like feeling it out. I was like, I'm glad you know that. Yeah, cool. This time I knew he was feeling it out, but I was like, yeah, of course. And then I said, well, your family can come too. You know, it's not that we're trying to separate. It's just we have to just kind of get accustomed to joining as one. And as difficult as it may be, like Marcus's family is in Liverpool, my family are in, well, his parents are in Liverpool. His family's all at Luton, London, where else? Up north, further, Sunderland, also, you know, they were everywhere. So when it came to that, it's kind of like it was even better. Christmas was even better because where we would normally house hop, it's like, right, we're house hopping to like different cities now. Like, this is great. And the families came together, and it kind of made it even more beautiful.
I think, as you said as well, Sheree, it was easy for us though, because I had a big family and Dion had a big family. So we were both in quite big families. My mum was one of plenty. My dad was one of plenty. Dion's family was one of plenty and abundance. So when it was the amalgamation of both, it wasn't difficult to be in and around family at all.
And another thing, I think we get caught up in, like you said, Sheree, and rightly so, you know, where are we gonna put everyone? The way how I see it is we're family, mate. If I'm sitting on your lap, if I'm sitting on the floor, if I'm sleeping on the floor and you got my bed, it don't matter where we are, as long as we are together. That's the bottom line. We can't take this for granted, because there's so many people who would love to be in a position that they could have such a family unit, such a be it. I'm trying to say it like, I'm just taking it to the road, like Mandy, like that. Like there's so much.
Road chick, what's she talking
you know, you married.
Sorry, I didn't know how else to say it, but for you to understand what I meant, just like, you know, it's like an army. The family is an army. So as we're coming together, mate, cousins, brothers, sisters, aunties, whatever, wherever you find yourself comfortable. And it's also nice because even when we're having things like get-togethers and whatnot, and we try and bring you together, even with friends, the friends become the family too, you know, because that's our unit. That's how it is. It just is that way. Just love family, innit?
It's true. I kind of feel like I agree with you so much, Dion, because when we first got married, our first Christmas was spent together. So when his family came to my family, we all had a big Christmas, and it was nice.
Because I'm small. It's just my mum and my dad, and all the rest of my family are abroad. So well, a few down south, but our immediate family. Yeah,
that's it. So whereas I've got a whole heap of family, man, in London, so it was just nice to come together. And also, we want to go on holiday at some stage. We want to do a big holiday together. Hopefully the Philippines, hold tight, you know, and just my mum wants to come, my family want to come, we want to go over there and have as much fun as possible. I think the nicest thing for me that I can remember, babes, was when it became official, when I called your parents mum and dad. You know, I'm not into this whole business of you get married and call your in-laws by their first name. Like, that to me seems disrespectful. I know it's a cultural thing though. I'd never call one's parents by their first name. Definitely not. But when I called them mum and dad and they called me son, oh my goodness, it melted my heart. I thought, I'm in. Thank you, Lord, I'm in. This hard work and I'm in. And when they said they love me, son, when they said they love me, son, oh my goodness, I felt like I could die a happy man. What about you, Win?
Same, I agree.
How's that? You're trying to win points online, you know?
And again, bro,
you're trying to win points online. When you called him beforehand, I was like, tune in this week, tune in.
What about you guys, Jay, Stacey?
I think for me it was a culture shock, because my family is really small. There was like 8 of us all together, whereas Jay is the same as you, Dion.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Jonathan.
Yeah,
so many of them, and because I'm naturally quite shy. and introverted. So then when I went, I was just in this room with all these people. Like, I think the first couple of times I probably just sat in the corner and just watched because I was so, I didn't know what to do with so many people.
This is my family gatherings sound like a cattle market.
Yeah.
It's just, the noise is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a lot, man. It was a lot.
Yeah.
As time's gone on, obviously I've become used to it, and I would say I've settled in quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. But yeah,
I couldn't really say anything else there.
No, you couldn't. I'm good now. But yeah, no, I've definitely got used to it. The relationships have grown. Our families, the two halves don't get together very often. My family's based down here. Dre's family is based in Manchester. So they don't often meet, but when they are together, it is really nice. It's nice to have that feeling that, you know, you've got family.
I came into it quite naive because I just assumed you get married and everyone gets along, everything's cool, everything's fine. And it's only when Stacey was telling me that she just wasn't used to all the noise. I was like, what noise? What are you talking about? Like, because it's just normal to you. And so I had to completely understand a whole different perception that, you know what, your family might be strange to different people, your family might be different. And it's almost trying to help your partner navigate that. And so when I became aware of it, like when you go around to my house and all my family's there, like everyone just walks in the door and then splits into different directions. Everyone's everywhere. People on the stairs, people on the chairs, whatever, and you're gone. And then you meet up and you many people. And all of a sudden you start to realize, hold up, I might need to actually take time and sit with Stacey because she's not as used to this, you know, help her navigate it. And I think it just took her being open to go, I'm not used to this, for me to then understand, because I didn't know what I didn't know.
But now I'm okay. Like when I go there, I know I need to be loud and I'm cool with that. So.
Now she walks in and she's like,
literally.
Like if there's food in the pot, don't offer it out, you just go for it. Because no one else is literally one of them ones.
No serving around here. Your family, get yourself in the kitchen and sort it out.
Yeah, this is it. Because I remember, and it's actually one of the questions that's just popped up with like, how do you decide the, Christmas? I think with us, we just alternated it. Yeah. But I found that very difficult because Christmas was a big thing for my family. Because my parents don't live together. So I used to always have to go to my granddad's house, get Christmas dinner. I then used to have to go to my mum's house, get Christmas dinner. Then I go to my dad's house, get Christmas dinner. And then
it was a lot of food, man.
This is it. But now you alternate it year on year.
Breakfast at your mom's, then go to your grandparents, then go to your dad's.
I look forward to this. Christmas I eat for a week in a day.
My family's not as big on Christmas, so we've definitely had to adjust to cater for Dre.
Just for Dre. Okay, so
there you go.
Thinking about the first year of marriage, guys, which is obviously the title of the show this week. How do we deal with the insecurities? So it's two brand new people coming together, as we talked about, and waking up next to each other. And then all of a sudden you find that you're waking up next to a totally different person, possibly. Saying, the hair comes off, the makeup comes off, the nails come out. The belly comes out.
Hey,
I was talking about you. I was talking about Micah. So all those insecurities. Come on, it's the reality of life, isn't it? So how did you deal with that kind of situation? For some people, it may be the very first time they actually realize that their wife or their spouse didn't have blonde hair.
Okay,
or
so
didn't have long hair.
Let's make this real, because I know that this is a real thing for us ladies that have to do this. So not have to, that do this, right? So I don't know, but I was very, very concerned. Like, okay, Marcus is gonna see me pull off my weave or pull out my hair or whatever it is, so that I can tie up my head and sort myself out, ready for the next, like, to go to sleep, innit? So I don't know if you've seen Napoli Ever After, but the girl used to wake up super early in the morning, get herself all prim and proper, and then lie back down in the bed like this. I think we do know that there are girls out there that are thinking, my goodness, they're gonna see me. Like, it's a real thing, these insecurities. other ones are, well, now, I mean, like, now I'm slinging it off and, you know, pulling off the lashes, whatever it is. because we're at that stage now. But initially, at the first stage, it was difficult. And I think the one moment that kind of made me go, oh my God, like, this is nice. Like, I feel secure, is when he was like, he took out my weave for me. Like, he was like, I'll help you. And I was like, help me. And I went, nah, it's gonna be dirty, and nah, I'm not forget it. And he was like, don't be silly, I'll help you. And he sat, and that has stuck in my head. Like, that's the moment that my God came down. My God came down, literally, because I was like, I just felt like, okay, I feel secure. Like, my goodness, even though, like, I have hair, I've got hair, but you know, it's nice to have a little, keep it fresh and do something different sometimes. And but even that was an insecurity, thinking that the hair or whatever would be too dirty. You would want to touch it. I didn't want him to see it, you know. But then there's other things like putting on face masks at night and stuff. Like, you know, you're part of your beauty regime. Do you hide it and be like, I'll be out in 10 minutes, just give me a second, and then run back out? Like,
yeah. And to the guys as well, you know, that scar that they never saw, or the toes, I don't know, all sorts.
Hammer toes.
Them basketball shoes.
Did you ever have that?
During the time that you're going out and stuff, and you know that whole courting time, I think you kind of deal with some of those insecurities. Because I remember even when it was the first time going out with Cherie, I drive down to Brum. I got there and Cherie was just putting in her weave. And she used to do it all the time. Like, we'd just be going out. She'd have a quick half an hour. Let me put in two tracks. Tracks. Yeah, two tracks. And so, like, that was kind of like, you dealt with it then. And I remember, you know, helping her, cutting out the
like
strings.
Talking him through, like, please don't cut my cane, bro.
Yeah, something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you went
here.
Can you sew in, Jonathan?
Say again?
Can you sew in? Do you know how to sew in?
I didn't go that.
I never ever needed to go that far. Just help me get it out.
Okay,
Marcus can.
I've been taught. She taught me well.
Marcus, you have a full head of weave.
If I do the bass, if I like, he's done it before. If I do the bass, he'll sew it in.
Man.
Oh yeah.
That's sick. Go on, Marcus. That's sick, man.
And found a pop if any ladies want.
That's it.
Yeah,
I'm a big man still. Big man thing around there. I got weights to lift. You see me?
Listen, he lifts this way, okay?
All right.
Yes. Tell him again.
So yeah, I think, like, you deal with a lot of the insecurities and, you know, like, beauty regime stuff. You kind of do that on the build up. So, you know, like, you don't get to like wedding day and then like boom, you're surprised, like, oh, you're surprised that the weave, like, oh, that was all yours, like, oh, I didn't realize you had makeup. I thought your cheeks just look like that. Like, it's kind of just you go through that anyway. Like, you know, Shireen, like, contouring and all of that. Like, you see it, you understand it. You know, you just
What did you say?
The thing that I wanted to be really honest, like, I never tried to hide like the real me. So like some dates I'd be very minimal. Do you know what I mean? Like, not every day turn up to the nines. Like, you know, some days I'd just be like, okay, well, I think in the earlier days I always had my weave, but not every day makeup. And like, as we kind of got further on, it was like, oh yeah, he'd pull out my hair. It was just like whatever, and it like I was quite. I think it depends on the confidence of the person, actually, because not everybody is confident in their own skin, and some people do have a very hard time being seen without makeup. Some people cannot step foot out the door unless their eyebrows are done. Some people cannot bear to even, you know, open their bedroom door unless they've got lashes on. Like, it does depend on the person. Fortunately for me, I've never really been like that. So yeah, I'll turn up and contour and lash and highlight and go like mad. But then other days, some days cocoa butter in it.
And Vaseline in it.
Not even.
What about you, Micah?
You're right, ashy lips.
Say that again.
Say again, Micah.
I think you've got to be comfortable in who you are, and I like what Jonathan said about you kind of see the real person throughout dating or courtship. I think it's a bit weird if you don't see the real person, or maybe if you're in a long distance relationship and you've only seen the perfect, genuine article.
We had a long distance relationship.
No, not like that though. I mean, if you're like webcamming all the time and stuff, you live in a different country and you get married and your person took off their weave and lashes and things, you're going to be shocked. It might be frightening.
Who are you?
Great catfish right there, Michael.
Catfish marriages, man.
You know.
No, but I mean, I think there should be an element of trust, and I kind of feel like I don't feel like there was any real insecurities when we got married in terms of how I looked or how Winnie looked. I was very happy with the way she looked. I'd seen her before she'd gone to bed, and I'd seen her first thing in the morning. If I went to visit her early in the morning when she was a student, I'd see her in the morning, and I often left her place late as well. So it wasn't really a big deal.
She knows. But yeah, no. So I hear where you guys are coming from, because it's having the ability to be open. So like, for instance, with Stacey, there were things which I had insecurities about, which she helped me with. So for instance, she told me straight, like, I'll be open and honest. So with my hair, she was one who persuaded me, shave it off. And she goes, I love you whether you got hair or not. She didn't care. And for me, that was a big thing. I was like, oh, swear down, you're going to love this Malteser. Okay. Like, and I think for me, it was just knowing that there was that acceptance. And so for me, when I look at, so I didn't know, say, all the insecurities that Stacey may or may not have. Like, you learn those over time. But when I got into marriage, I didn't need to think, I wonder how she's going to look. For me, it was just whatever comes, I've made the commitment to this woman, and I want to do everything for this woman that no other man would. So if she got an insecurity, I'm going to make that her strength. If there's something she's worried about, I'm going to make sure that she's fine with me. And I took that as a personal challenge.
That's right.
I definitely did pre-warn him though. I was like, listen, my hair is not like yours. I'm going to be wearing a satin bonnet at night time, okay?
I mean,
like, genuinely, it's just full head wrap and like protective styling and all of this. And I'm just like, this is it. And so all of us, but I remember we had a photo shoot one time. So Stace doesn't, and I remember on our wedding day, Stace doesn't wear makeup. And she didn't wear a weave or any of that. So when it was on her wedding day, I remember so many people were surprised going, she turned up on her wedding day with no makeup and all of this. And it's because this was the Stacey I got to know.
That's it.
And I think that, and it's not to say that there's anything wrong. So when she does put it on, I'm just sat there going, okay, it's that time, But it's just like the Stacey I got to know is, so I never had to worry about, you go to bed and then the girl you went to bed with is not the one you wake up with because she's on the pillow. I didn't have to worry about that. It's just, when you just get used to it. And I thought that for me was key, because it let me know that I just wanted to accept her whether she wanted to wear whatever she wanted to wear, whether it's heels, any makeup, hair. I needed her to know that I accept her regardless. And I think that's the critical part there.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, I've loved this episode. I've absolutely loved it. Great. So we're gonna just roll into some viewers' questions now. So here we go. One viewer said, how long should I wait around for a proposal? How long should I wait around for a proposal? Yeah. So I'm assuming that they've been in a relationship for a few years now, 3, 4, 5 years, and there's been nothing. Oh, I love you, and I still love you, and I still love you. Yeah, and I love you, and that's it. Like,
I think it depends. So I would say I would expect a couple that's seeing each other all the time to get there a little bit faster than someone who's perhaps in a long distance relationship and they get together quite rarely. I don't know if there's an ideal time. I feel like there's definitely a minimum time, as in I feel like you guys should be together at least a month, like see the girl through the monthly cycle, because how Right. So you need to wait at least a month. You know what she's like all the way through the month, then cool. But
I could have proposed after a month, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel
Look at Dre.
at least a month, all right?
I can learn everything I need in a month.
Basically, yeah. So
Okay.
but I don't know. I don't know if I could put an end date on it. I think a year or two is adequate, I would say. And I mean, you proposed to me after 2 years, and we were both at uni, so we weren't seeing each other all the time. We see each other maybe once or twice a month. We'd see each other on the weekend. So I think if you're in a position where you're living in the same city, you're seeing each other every day, I would not be expecting to wait 2 years personally.
Wow.
Well, Marcus was in Liverpool, I was in Birmingham, and I was like, if 2 years come and he ain't put this ring on this finger, you ain't serious, bro.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
No, but for real, hello, we're women, our clocks are ticking. Like, we don't have time for this. Like,
Yes.
you know, if we've got, someone's got to say it, I'll say it. Like, it's for real though. Like, you know, we don't have time to be wasting like that.
Mhm.
If you're saying to me that you want to be with me, you want to be with me for the rest of your life or my life, or, you know, we want to work on this and we want to move forward, I think it's only fair that you shouldn't need to wait any longer than 2 years. 2 years is a long time, you know. So when it's coming to like 3, 4, 5 years, I think it's very easy to just become like happy with how situations are. Like, we're cool like this. Let's stay in this engaged zone. We can just be engaged forever.
Why don't you know by then?
No,
Like,
but here's the thing though, right? So to give the flip side to that, it could be that, like, we know people, and we know personally people who've been at university and they're like, we're just going to get, say, the studying out of the way, and then we're going to get engaged after. And so for them, it could be longer. Now, I've worked at places where there are people who are still together
Right.
like 10 years and then got engaged.
Ray, don't lose that thought. You keep that thought. But I'm talking about when you're in this not studying. I'm talking about the fact that you're saying, look, this is where the relationship is. I want to get married to you. Let's get engaged. You get engaged, and then 2 years later, there's no wedding, or we're just being engaged all the way forever. That's what I'm talking about. Not
Okay.
about what you're saying.
I think it's always important to have an end goal. So, but then there's no point in proposing if you have nothing to offer a woman. So, and this is assuming the man's the one proposing, not the woman. But the way I see it is, if you're going to propose, you have to be able to offer the woman something. So, like, some people, they're together for 5 years, but they don't have a house, they don't have any money, they've got no income, they're living at home with their parents, and they're not in a position to get married. So if they were to propose, what would they be able to offer the woman? And so from my perspective, propose when you are ready to leave and to cleave.
And
But
I
we
think
spoke about empire building. Why can't you build the empire together? Why can't you get your house together?
No, that's fine. I don't necessarily mean the house, but I mean, if, for example, if somebody, now this is the advice I was given when I had premarital counseling by our favorite pastor. But the point that he said to me is, if you have nothing to offer a woman, why propose? Because you're not in a position to get married. If you have no job, you're both students, you're both living at home with your parents, then you're going to propose, but you can't move in, you can't get, do you know what I mean?
But I think
You're not ready, basically. What do you think?
I was going to say, but I think the proposal is something that should always be something that's expected between the two of you at some point.
Mhm.
And I'd say, if you're in a relationship with someone and 4 years have gone and the guy is still umming and ahhing as to whether marriage is the thing for him,
Mhm.
I would say that that's a red flag. I'd probably say, I hate to be a generalized, but I'd say the only exception is if there's some sort of broken, hurt past that means that it's almost traumatic. The thought of being committed, because he's like, you know, the whole I don't want to commit in a marriage because I'm not that sure. Like, I come from a broken home. Those are issues you need to someone needs to get counseling on. But in your mind, both of your end goals is, we are going to spend the rest of our lives together, and we ultimately want to get married. But I know it sounds general, but I'd say from what I'm learning about Micah and like men, is if they want something, they will pin it down pretty soon. So they will tell that woman, I am going to marry you. You know, you don't have to wonder when I'm going to propose. Just know that it's happening. If they want you, if you still don't know if your partner is ever going to propose to you, that would be like I'm not hanging around for more than 2 years.
But then I think there's also nothing wrong in having a conversation. So back to my original point of you need to have something in place at least to consider getting married to someone. You also should have a conversation. So there's nothing wrong with two people discussing what their intentions are. Like when I got with Winnie, I made it very clear. I'd like to get married. I'd like to have a family.
We said that within a month, I'm sure.
Yeah, not in a deep way, like a possessive way, but I didn't want to waste her time. And if Winnie's attitude was, I don't really want to get married, I want to just coast 5 years, I'm like, don't waste my time. But my attitude was from the onset, I'm planning to get into this relationship with you. I want to know if this could potentially lead to us spending the rest of our lives together.
And I think
that's the main point in that it's a process where you're having conversations. So I don't think you can put a minimum on it, because a lot of when I'm going to old people during work, I mean old people's homes, and they say I've been together for like 50 years. I've married my husband 60 years. We've been married. The conversation always is, he saw me, and then a month later we got engaged, and 6 months later we were married. So I don't think you can put a time on it. It's a conversation that happens. So you say this is what I want. And then between each other, you can decide, whether or not it's 2 years you're going to wait, or if we're at uni, let's get engaged now. So we show that commitment. 2 years we're going to finish university. That's when we're going to go and get married. We can save up from there. It's one of those things that it's a conversation that's continually happening between you within your relationship, where you can't put a minimum and you can't put a maximum. But I will say, if it's gone 5 years, then
ask questions.
I think you can put a maximum on it though, because if you're getting to like 3 years and he's like, oh, I'm still not sure. Like, why are you not sure? You've had 3 years.
No, but the thing is though, it comes back to what Winnie said earlier, is people, so if you've got a plan, you've got something that you want to be able to work towards, like you need to know I need to find out certain things to find out if this woman is the right woman to get married, right? But if you're sat there taking years and years, there's a problem there. But what Winnie says rings true, is there's something that you as a person might have to work through yourself. And you're sat there going, I love this woman, I want to be with this woman, but there are certain things that we need to work through. So it could take longer. And I don't know if I could per se, because I don't know all the different variations or possibilities of what people go through as to how long it will take someone to work through that. But if you're sat there for years and years, like 5, 10, 15 years without any sort of, if your end goal was marriage, you do have to question and just go, like, are you still investigating, or are you still trying to figure something out? Because like you learn everything about a person after a certain, or everything you possibly can to make a decision. So you're like, what do you want? Like my bank account details? Do you want my height, my size? What's left to know?
So is it fair then? Do we all agree that is it fair then to say, or do we all agree that we're saying, how long? Just don't get comfortable. If you're feeling comfortable being engaged, just to be engaged, then that's when it's not the right thing.
Absolutely.
But if you're engaged and there's constant conversation about it, you've got a plan, you're working together towards the end goal, then time frame will kind of vary. However, if we're just saying, yeah, we're not just boyfriend and girlfriend anymore, we're engaged, and that's it. Like,
I just want to add a little point in though. Some people they want to be committed, they want to be with that person and build a family, but not everyone values marriage the same.
Yes.
So I would encourage everyone, when you're going out with someone, you need to have that conversation, because if, for instance, like I've already shared, like when me and Jonathan first got together, he was like, where's it going? Like, I want to be married. I want to be married by 27. I think he said, I want to have children. And so the thing is, if you have to have that conversation, because there are definitely people out there that have seen their parents or, people that are close to them be together for 30, 40, 50 years, not be married, and it worked fine. And to them, they're like, why get married? It works this way. But if you don't hold the same value of marriage, that can cause a problem. And it's just echoing what Winnie said, really. You need to have that conversation from early and just I wouldn't say it's an ultimatum. I wouldn't say like, oh, if they are into it and you are, and you have to put, oh, it has to be 3 years or blah. It's not so much that. It's just being very transparent with your expectations, I would say.
Cool. Okay. All right, we'll move on to one last question then. One more question. And the last question is, how influential are your friends in helping you find a life partner? How influential are your friends in helping you find a life partner?
That's a good question, you know.
That's actually a funny question because Dion affirmed to Cherie that I was alright, so I guess friends. I guess friends out.
See, the thing is, like, obviously, like, Jonathan will try and say that he liked me from school, and he'll say that he wrote me a love letter that I never got, and he'll say always wanted me. However, I didn't know this. So when we were older and I seen him and I was like, hey, yes to the biceps. I was just like, you know, I'm like, this guy is, you know, he's very attractive and I know him, I've always liked him. And he'll say that's not true, but whatever.
And she never came to me. She went to my sister.
No, I didn't. That's a lie.
Then I had to approach her.
Oh, it's a lie.
It's
a lie.
Won't say anything.
Anyway, like, Dion kind of like, when we went to Youth Congress, Dion was like, Cherie, yes, Jonathan. And I was like, all right. And like, me and Dee is my sister. She's my second sister. So, you know, Dee was like, yep, that's you. And I thought, okay, let's do this. So I think it is nice. It's nice that we all have these, you know, your friends are your family. They're your second family. So it's nice when they approve and they have the same kind of bond. And it is really nice. It makes for such an easy life when everyone's just happy and on the same playing field and everyone loves each other the same. And it just means that you can continue in a nice way without having to keep people separate and stuff like that.
But that's cool when it works like that. But then what happens when it's the other way? Like, is it okay for your friend to say, babe, I don't think that's the one for you? Like, is that, do you guys think that that's all right? Are you crossing boundaries doing that? Are you, you know, are you pushing the friendship boundary by saying, actually, I don't think that is the one for you?
No, I think it's important because if these people are saying that they're your friends, then that bond will really be there. So your friends should be able to, and likewise, your friends should be able to counsel you and say, because they know you and they know, they will know the things you like, the things you don't like. They will know when you have your love is blind blinkers on, or your bicep blinkers on, but you're not seeing other things. So they will be able to say to you, you know what, I don't think that person is good for you because of this, this, and this. Or they may see the trait that you're not seeing because you're in the moment. So I think friends can be really influential on both sides of the coin. Because when it's going bad, they can give you that advice, which isn't always listened to. We know that for a fact, that sometimes you're in the moment so much that you don't want to hear what your friend's saying, because either you think they're trying to take your man or trying to take your girl, or you think, oh, they're just trying to hate on you because you have something that they don't have, that sort of thing. So it's important to know who your friends are. And when I'm saying friends, I mean your real friends who are actually looking out for have your best interests at heart rather than trying to hate on your situation.
That's right.
And I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Marcus, because I think that's where, from obviously we're going to go back to like having a prayer for life, putting God first is really the most important thing, because sometimes your friends may not have good intentions. Your closest friends may not be giving the wisest advice at times. And when it push comes to shove, you need to know where true wisdom is. And sometimes it has to come from your relationship with God and your evaluation of, is this person the right person for me? Are there traits that God would want me to have in a husband? Are my friends the ones who are giving me the wisest wisdom based on godly wisdom? So I think it does boil down to kind of having that balance right as well.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, I think for your friends to be criticizing more so than encouraging, when you've actually got to that point, I think that's a bit of a flag. I wouldn't say a red flag. I think just a bit of a flag. So I think when I said to my boy, I said to Junior, I was like, I want to marry Cherie. And he didn't say anything negative. He didn't say he didn't actually say anything. He actually asked me the question. He said, why? And that made me actually think, because I was just, you're just in the moment, you're besotted, you just think, this is the one. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to marry you, And he's like, okay, why? And I actually sat in the car quiet for a bit and I had to actually think. Then when I started to think about it and I said everything why I'd want to marry her, he didn't even say anything. He was like, okay, cool. And I feel like that was his way, that was his supporting way of,
That's that bromance. That bromance there.
100,
Right there.
100. Like, I think he would be mad if he was to say, well, what about this and what about this and what about this? So I'd think, hold on a second, that's a bit strange. All of those, where's all this all come from? It'd be a bit strange. So I reckon you'd have, like Winnie says, you'd have to kind of decipher from what is, as the person got good intentions for you or bad intentions.
That's
for you.
Exactly it. And I think it comes back to just knowing who your real friends are, and you'll build up that credibility with them over time. Remember when I was, I had intentions with Stacey, and I was telling people, like, yeah, I want to get married to this person. And a couple of my friends, I actually went out to canvass opinion and to find out, is she as good as this looks, or is she like a closet psycho? Like, am I telling, like, is this for real? And I remember one friend told me, like, nah. Stacey Ferguson, like, she's squeaky clean. I remember the exact word, she's squeaky clean. And the thing is, when you're seeing quite a few people who know her well, who know you well, and know what you like in a person, you start to see common trends coming out that you're seeing yourself, and other people are seeing you, like, okay, now this is real. This is true.
I think it's important to have genuine people who can also challenge you, because sometimes you need a bit of a challenge. You want to be sure that you're doing this, because marriage is a lifelong commitment. It's to death do us part. So you sign a death contract. You don't really want to get it wrong and then look back and say to yourself, man, everything's
made that super deep.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's a death contract.
No, but you know what? You're telling the truth, because pretty much as soon as we got married, one of the first things she did was like, she just went, so can you sign the life insurance? But like, we've barely been married a week.
Financial planning.
She's planning for my death, literally on our honeymoon. I'm like, excuse me, I'm not feeling safe.
She wanted to make sure that if anything happened to you, she'd be taken care of.
This is it. Like, oh, the payday.
Oh, the plane could accidentally crash just on your side.
You know.
He's still here 8 years later.
8 years later.
Yeah, so what we said about
Madam?
What we said about death contract, sorry.
Richard, it's a death do us part, and you signed up to having to hold in sickness and health, for better or worse, to rich or poorer, in sickness to death do us part. You sign your life away, bro. So you want to make sure that Cherie's the right one for you. Trust me.
It's a bit late. She has to be now. It's till that you just said.
Wow. She's already in the contract.
Yeah. Come on, Jay.
Right, guys. It has been so nice. Just spending some time again with you guys. Thank you again for just your honesty as well. There are people who, as we said, the reasons why we do this because you guys as the viewers are asking us questions on how to get support, to get help, to get advice, and this is what we're doing. So one of these questions, this topic, came from a question that was asked to us about what is it like the first year in marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing, beautiful, and it is blessed and it is ordained by God, and it is something that is just so amazing. And so would we as couples here encourage you to be married? Absolutely. We're not saying that it's easy. We're not saying that life is just going to be smooth and it's going to be a bed of roses. It's not going to be that. But in all of this, we know that you're in this together. You are walking side by side, and right in the middle, God is present, right in the center of it all. So we encourage you to just keep talking and keep praying about it. It is a lifelong decision, but it will be one of the best decisions that you will ever make. If you put the hard work and you put in that graft, you have to put in the work, put in that graft, and it will be one of the most beautiful things. So I'm going to ask Micah if you could just pray for us to close.
Dear God, I thank you so much for us, Lord. I thank you for the relationships that are represented here, Lord, with Dion and Marcus, with Cherie and Jonathan, with Stacey and Dre, myself and Winnie. And I ask in a special way that you will bless what we have. We ask that you will bless the listeners also, Lord, who have been on this platform, who have followed us on this journey. And I ask in a special way that you will enhance their relationships their marriages, and also if they are looking, find the correct partner for them. Thank you so much, Lord, and we love you dearly. Amen.
Amen. So who's gonna let everyone know how they can follow us, where to find us? Come on, who's gonna do it?
Yo. So we've got YouTube. Can We Just Talk? Hit us up, subscribe, share, leave comments to let us know what topics you want to hear more of. Like Instagram, Instagram's popping off as well. Can We Just Talk? We got on Maestro Sharif all over that one. Facebook as well. Can We Just Talk? Like, you can find us everywhere, guys. We're all active on social media as well. So give us a follow, give us a share. Let us know what you want to see more of.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.